Hello and welcome to Relatively Crafty, a knitting podcast. I'm your host, Christy. I come to you from the Denver area of Colorado, where I live with my husband, Ron, our two daughters, Tatum and Delaney, our tuxedo kitty, Lilu, and our Padango puppy, Sophie. Welcome. If you're looking for me on Ravelry, I am Cristi-Lael, and on Instagram, I am Cristi-Lael without the dash. And it's been a couple of weeks since I podcast last. I think I podcast on New Year's Day or the day after, something like that. And I had hoped to kind of keep up with the quicker or the more podcasting more often. I had hoped to keep up with that because I had podcast right before Christmas or right around Christmas and then at New Year's. But I forgot that that January is when I work all of the hours, and so I have just accomplished not very much in January. It is now the 24th. Nope, I'm sorry, it's the 25th. And that means that I am still in the middle of the January busy season. If you're not familiar, I'm an accountant, and we have to file all the 1099s for all of the offices for my company in Colorado, and it is quite a lot. And so January is my department's busy season. I don't do taxes. I do a bookkeeping, accounting, and so the 1099s are what we do, and we have to kind of also on top of that close out the year with the bookkeeping for the taxes of our clients. So not only do we do the 1099s, but we also have to close out all of the 2019 bookkeeping for the year, and that it goes above and beyond the normal things that I do each month for my clients. Anyway, so I've been working a lot of hours, 50 plus hours a week, and that has made me tired, and it gives me very little time to knit. But I have been knitting some things, and while today is still in January, I am taking the entirety of this, this day for sure. I'm hoping to take the entire weekend off, which I haven't done at all in January so far, but I'm hoping to be able to do that. And so I thought, well, let's get a podcast out, because I have finished a couple of things and I'd like to show them to you. So, knitting. I have finished a couple of things, as I literally just said. Let me go ahead and pop them out. These have been worn, and they are already dirty. But I finally finished Delaney's gloves. If you recall from Christmas time, Delaney had asked me to make 3 pairs of coordinating fingerless gloves for herself and her 2 BFFs. And so I got Anai's and Susan's done before Christmas, so she was able to give them to the 2 girls as their Christmas gifts, and then I told Delaney that she was going to get hers as soon as I could. I did finally finish them. They're very basic. It's just the pattern in my head. Basically, I think for these, because they're 12-year-old girls, I cast on 56 stitches. For an adult pair, I cast on 60 stitches. I did 10 rounds of 1x1 ribbing. I did 25 rounds of straight stockinette. Then I started the thumb gusset, which is just increasing 2 stitches on either side every other row. I knit 3 rows plain and then took the thumb off and then knit, I think, 15 rows of plain stockinette, and then started 1x1 ribbing for another 10 rows, bound off. The thumb is 5 rows in plain stockinette and then 5 rows of ribbing. It's basically the same recipe that I do for all of the fingerless gloves that I make. I'm definitely a creature of habit, and I like to have things in my head. And so I basically find something that works for me, a recipe that works for me, and then I just continually make that recipe. It's what I did with the hats. It's what I do with all of my socks. It's basically the same thing over and over and over again, so that I don't have to carry a pattern with me. I don't ever have to really think about it. And it's perfect for that mindless knitting that I need to have for the projects that I carry around with me, and for those days when I am just dog tired and cannot focus on anything, and but I can still knit. So yes, Delaney's fingerless gloves are completed, and she has been wearing them to school. They don't look all that bad, really, but we haven't had that cold of weather lately. It's actually, this January has been very mild. December was colder than it was in January, and that's normally not the case. So I'm sure that they will get worn much more once the, probably next month will probably hit. Well, actually, we're supposed to get some snow next week, so we'll see. Speaking of the gloves for her friends, though, I ended up making a third glove for Susan. She went skiing with her family between Christmas and New Year's, and the poor thing lost one of her gloves, and she was heartbroken. She loves them to death, which really warms my little knitter's heart. You know how nice it is when you make something for somebody, especially when you have never made something for that somebody before, and they just wear it over and over and over again, and they gush about it. Every single time I saw her, she would thank me again for making them. She was always had them on, so it was really nice. And then to find out, I found out a little bit after New Year's that she had lost one, and she was heartbroken over it. I had plenty of the yarn left over. I had broken into a full skein of the Hippo for Baby Red for the Lolo Did It, and so I had plenty left over, so I went ahead and made her a third glove, and had Delaney give it to her at school, and so she is happy again, and so I'm glad to do that. So yes, that is my first FO. I have one more, and this I just finished last night. I blocked it overnight so that I could show it to you guys this morning, although it isn't morning anymore because Ron and I got a new bed. Just go on a slight little tangent here. Ron and I went to the stock show with my parents last weekend, and while we were there, we bought a bed, because that's what you buy at the stock show, right? If you don't know what a stock show is, it's where ranchers bring their cattle to be judged and sold and bought and whatnot. And so it's all about cows and sheep, some horses, and just, it's very cowboyish, rancher-ish, and it doesn't really have anything to do with beds. But Mattress Firm had a booth, if you will, up at in the vendor center, and they had a great deal. Ron and I have been looking for a new bed for a while. We've never had a brand new mattress. We've always kind of bought them secondhand off of family or friends, and so while the mattress we've been using for the past 10 years it was not a crappy one, it just wasn't a great one, and after a while, so we bought a new mattress. Now, bought a whole new bed, the adjustable ones, and where was I going with this? Oh, that's what. That's right. I know where I was going with this. So anyway, the bed is the new bed is super comfortable, like really comfortable. So Ron and I woke up. The dog woke me up at 7:30. So I've been up for a while, but it was really comfortable in bed. So we kind of hung out and talked, and we watched music videos of new artists that we've recently discovered, each of us, and I knit some, and then I crocheted some, and we just kind of hung out. I went downstairs and made us egg sandwiches for breakfast and brought them back up. We ate them in bed. It was really nice. So we didn't actually get out of bed for a long time, though we were up early. So anyway, the point is that I finished this last night and blocked it so that I would have it ready and blocked and dry for showing you guys today. And this is the advent calendar that I opened up over January from Forbidden Fibers. I had purchased an advent calendar at my local yarn shop, which is Colorful Yarns in Centennial, and I bought it like the 17th or 18th of December. Decided I didn't want to open it up in December, so I saved it for January. And the reason why I made that decision was because each day you got in the box a little 10-gram mini and a clue for a mystery knit along, and I liked that idea, so I decided that in January I was going to do this mystery knit along, and I did. Now, today is the 25th. There were 24. Well, there actually were only 20 minis in the advent calendar. There were, I guess there were 21. No, there were 20. Because there were 24 boxes, and 4 days were just, they had like goodies, in non-yarn goodies, personal care goodies. Like one day had a cuticle cream, one had a little thing of lotion, one had a lip balm, and one had a soap bar. And if I think I took a picture of all 4 of them together. If I did, I'll post it. And so those is like you got one of those each week. So there were 20 different minis, 20 different clues, and you were supposed to have them done by the 24th. And I did that, actually. Yesterday was the 24th, and I finished this on the 24th. I did not keep up, though, I will say. I had all these grand plans to do 1 clue each night, and I did really well for like the first week, and then things got a little chaotic at work, and I was running out of time, and so I would, like, do a couple over the weekend, like 3 or 4 or 5 over the weekend, and then kind of miss out or not finish one each day during the week. I would finish one every second day or something like that. And then I kind of got lazy and made some changes to the pattern when I got to the end because I needed something more easy. Anyway, I think I showed you. No, I didn't. Maybe I did. I think I showed you the first clue finished when I podcast last. But here it is. It's all blocked. And then this one is the second clue, and this one is the third clue. And so it kind of kept going. It was this long rectangular thing, and each day you added another piece on opposite sides. So you went back and forth. So that was a day, and then this was a day, and then there was this one, and this one, just this purple here. And then it basically was a polar opposite on the other side. Basically the same pattern, a similar color, but on the other side, right? And then it got interesting because you stopped, here, I'll do it like this. You stopped making it longer, and you started making it wider. So you picked up all the stitches. And it had a slip stitch edge, so it made it really easy to pick up all the stitches. And you went lengthwise across this way instead of up and down, if that makes sense. And you kept going that way. So like this was day 12, and then day 12, and day 13, and day 14, and day 15, and day 16, and day 17, and day 18. Yes. Okay. Or clue 18, I should say. So then there was that. And then the last 2 clues were a lacy bit that was supposed to be put on each end, 19 and then 20. However, I was afraid that it wasn't going to be long enough. The way I like to wear these kinds of shawls is wrap it, take it and kind of wrap it around that way. So the front goes around my neck and then back around the crossing on the back and then coming forward and kind of just hanging out, kind of like a cowl here. And I needed it to be long enough so that it wouldn't come undone during the day. I have found that I enjoy wearing those to work with my hair short, and it's very comfortable, and it just adds a little flash, a little color. And I was afraid that it wasn't going to be long enough because when it was unblocked, it was not long enough. So I decided that instead of doing the short lacy bits, I would kind of make a copy of this clue. And I picked up all the stitches on the side like I was supposed to, and then I just decreased every other row to kind of make a triangle. I ended up running out of yarn. So here, that's the triangle. And it's kind of funky shaped because of this really lacy bit. It's really stretchy. So I only decreased on this side. This part is flat. Or straight, I should say, but because of this lace bit, it kind of makes it look like I decreased on both sides, but I didn't. And then I ran out of yarn eventually, so I just added what I used for the last lacy bit, on this side, and I just finished off decreasing until I was down to 2 stitches, and I knit those 2 together, and that was the end. And then I did the same thing on the other side. I took clue number 20's color and picked up the stitches and decreased on this side. And then, I ran out again. So I took what I had left over from the last one on this side and finished it off. And then I was still looking at it when it was finished, and I was like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be long enough. But I blocked it last night, and now it's huge. So it goes, like I got all of this, and then it just keeps going, and it keeps going, and it keeps going. Like, it's so much wider than my wingspan. It's taller than I am. But you know what? That's okay, because I can still wear it. Let's see. I'm going to go around, like so. I don't like it tight on my neck, and then I can kind of, you kind of fiddle with it and twist it a little, get the colors in, and yeah, I kind of like how that looks. So this would be how I would wear it to work. And I have just a little bit of tails hanging down, but yeah, I think that works nicely, and it'll be really comfortable for work and keep, a little bit of warmth, but not overheat me. And with all of the colors in it, I can wear it with so many things. It's got all, if I decide I need to like let one show, highlight one, I can, I can. If not, I don't have to. I could wear it with this shirt because it's kind of got the right kind of greens in it, and yeah, so, and that's one of the things that I was excited about with this, because I have 2 shawls that I have been wearing to work, but they are made out of 3 different colors, so they are kind of limited on what I can wear them with, but this I should be able to wear with almost anything. So yeah, so that is finished. I think, what is the pattern called? A Very Merry MCal, I think. And it is now up on Ravelry. At least it has a project page, or a pattern page rather, on it on Ravelry. So if you want to check it out, you can go to my pattern page, and there's a link. So I don't know if you can get the pattern still. It would be great. I mean, I think that they should let you have the. That's the wrong side. I apologize for any banging you're hearing. I think Ron is working on his guitar, and he, it doesn't matter that I'm podcasting. So, he's just not thinking. Anyway, so yeah, it would be great if they released this pattern now, because you could do this with any kind of mini set, and it would be fun. But that is my other FO. I talked about that for a long time, sorry. Okay, so I have a couple of whips. Um, Not a whole lot, but some to show you. We'll start with the one that's right in front of me, and that is my Scrappy Hippo sweater. I don't know, I apologize, if I've already talked about this. I'm wondering if I had finished the sleeve when I podcast last. I might have. So I apologize if I'm repeating. I don't remember. Because I finished the sleeve and then I set it down for a long time. So it's entirely possible that I've already showed you this. I finished the sleeve on my Scrappy Hippo sweater. I won't talk too much about it, just in case I've already talked about it. Yes, first sleeve done. This is the Scrappy Hippo sweater, which is made out of all of the leftover sock yarns from the Hippo for the Holidays that I have done. For the cowl that I did for 2017 and 2018. In 2019, I also did the cowl, but I did it with DK and worsted weight yarn. This is just using the leftover sock yarn. I had so much, like 24 different half skeins, basically. So I decided to put them together, hold them double, and make myself a DK weight pullover. Just very, very simple. This is what I have left without breaking into any more skeins. So I'm hoping I can get the whole sleeve done with just this. I have taken all of my leftovers and wound them together. You can see there are right there, two skeins or two strands, and I'm just going to knit the sleeve until it is done, and then hopefully, well, and hopefully I will do that soon so that it will be finally over, because this has been on the needles for over a year now. And then I have 85 million ends to weave in, because I haven't woven in a single one. And these are all, it's all scrappies, so there's lots and lots of leftovers, or ends from the different kinds of scrappies. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I didn't say, this is one of the Hippo for the Holidays that I used. This is Lolo Did It, Hippo for the Holidays, her line. It's on her, this is on her plush sock base. This colorway was Hippo for Baby Pink, or Purple. Hippo for Baby Purple, I think. Anyway, that's what that was. Okay, and I do have, I mean, even though I basically bought a skein so that I could make a pair of socks for it for the knit along. I do have some extras, so I think I have two or three full skeins up there. One is the one that I won last year for finishing the cowl, and I'm kind of saving that for something special. But if I don't have enough in this big ball that I wound together, then I'll probably break into one of those. So, yeah. And let's see, I did some. As I mentioned this morning, comma, this morning, I did some crochet. So, this is another thing that had been kind of sitting and lamenting for since before Christmas. But I've been working on this crochet blanket. This is a very basic single crochet chain one, single crochet chain one blanket that I'm making out of Bernat blanket. I got 5, 6, 7 skeins of it from Joanne on sale. I think the first group, I got 5 of them after Thanksgiving, and then I got a couple before Christmas. And so I'm working on the blanket. I finished one color. It's going to be color blocked. I'm about halfway through the second skein, which is this gorgeous orange. The colorway is Orange Leaf, and I love it because Orange and me, we're friends. So yeah, I think the next one's going to be the oatmeal color. I have a bright yellow and a nice aqua, and then I have an oatmeal, a light gray, like this is the dark gray, the other one's a light gray, and the oatmeal, and then I have a kind of a light olivey green, which will probably be the last color that I use. And yeah, so I'm just kind of working on it a little bit here and there. I was crocheting it while Ron and I were laying in bed this morning, and he kind of grabbed a group of it, and he was like, ooh, that's kind of nice. And I'm like, yeah, I should finish it so that we could actually use it for a blanket. So hopefully I'll get going on that again soon. And then I have one more active whip, and that is a pair of socks. It is not a pair of Christmas socks. No, no, nay, nay, as John Pinette would say. I haven't worked on a pair of Christmas socks since I finished the last pair. This is a pair of socks that I cast on super quick because we were going to the movies. I like to knit on a pair of plain vanilla socks in the movie theater. We don't go to the movies all that often, but when we do, I like to bring a plain vanilla sock that I don't have to think about. I get the toe done, and then I just knit round and round and round in the movie theater. Don't need to look at what I'm knitting to do it, so it works out perfectly. And it's amazing because it seems like there's so much that goes by on the sock because I'm not looking at it for 2 hours, and it grows so fast when you're not looking at it. So anyway, I grabbed some yarn that I had that I wasn't going to need to wind, and got started on it, and got mostly through the foot during the movie. I picked out Grundle hot socks in the Diamond Mint Merino line, and the colorway is number 5. And I finished the first sock. Got that all finished. Look at how fun these are. You know what? I think that these commercial sock yarns really, they don't get enough love, I don't think. I mean, don't get me wrong. An indie dyed sock yarn is amazing. I love indie dyed sock yarn. Most of my socks are knit with indie dyed sock yarn. Fun to knit, and they're beautiful yarns, super soft and comfortable. But I do really also like knitting these commercial sock yarns as well. I love how crazy they are. I would not have put these I wouldn't have put these colors together. I wouldn't have put these stitch patterns, the patterns in the colors and the dye work together. If I had seen them separately and had heard that, oh, this is going to be all in one sock, I would have thought, oh, that's going to be ugly. But you know what? I actually really, really love it. And these workhorse yarns, they last forever. So this sock will be in my drawer for ages and ages and ages. Grundle is German, I believe. Yes. Ingolstadt, Germany. And I knit a pair of socks for Ron using this same yarn. I bought three different colorways. They come in 50-gram balls, so I bought 2 of each in 3 different colorways. I knit Ron a pair of socks with this in March of 2018, or April of 2018, when we drove to our graduation. And I love those socks too, and I think they look great. I'm actually a little jealous that I made them for Ron and not for me, because I would totally wear them all the time. He wears them all the time, so at least I still get to see them. But yeah, and I've got one more colorway, as I said, and I kind of want them all. I don't know that, I won't say that all of Grundle's colorways are awesome, but the Hot Socks Diamond are. So yeah, and the yarn is softer, really, than like an Opal or Regia. Not super soft, but softer. This is, let's see, Sockenwool. How's it broken down? Oh yeah, it's 75-25. So yeah, really, really, really enjoy these. And I do, like I said, I have the first sock done. I have the second sock going because they're small 50-gram balls, and because I made the sock tall, and because the color repeat is really pretty significant. I mean, from here to here, basically. I wasn't going to try. I'm never going to try to match on these, and I don't mind if my socks don't match. So I just basically started the second one exactly where the second ball started. So I will continue on, and then I'm saving the little bits. I think I've got like, I don't know, 6 or 7 grams left that I will put into a crochet scrappy something, because I really like these colors. So yeah, that is the only other active whip that I have. I am starting to pull out things that that I have been working on in the past, and am trying to get back into working on those. Like, for example, as soon as I finish my grundle socks, I'm going to get back into the Christmas sock that I had been working on in like November. This is all that I have of it. I put it aside. Oh, that's right. I put it aside at the beginning of December to work on the Advent colorway that I'd had with Mustache, the final Christmas socks that I had done at the end of the year, and you know, I need to get back to it. So this is Lolo did it in the plush sock in the cornucopia colorway. So yeah, I will get back to this. I don't even have the toe, or I have the toe. There's the toe, Christy. I don't even have the heel done. So so yeah, got a long way to go on these, but I will get back to them. But after the grundle socks are done, because they're fun. And then see, something else that I'm looking to pull out, and I don't know if I'm going to wait till I finish the hippo scrappy sweater. I really should, because I keep getting pulled away from that, because it's not as much fun to knit anymore. Mostly it's because it's got a lot of ends, and it's kind of dull, and I'm I've knit so much hippo yarn that as much as I love the colorways, I'm kind of bored with knitting hippo for the holidays. I have done basically something hippo for the holidays every month for the past 3 years, and I just kind of want to knit other colors. But I do want to wear it, my hippo scrappy sweater, so I need to just kind of like buckle down and finish that second sleeve. So yeah. So but if I don't, or if I do, before I finish podcast, or before I podcast next, if I finish it, then I'm going to get back to my Taiga. I think that's how you pronounce it. It is spelled, I don't know. How is it spelled? It is spelled Taiga. Taiga, not Taiga. Taiga sweater. Anyway, this is on super bulky yarn. It goes super fast because it's like on 11s. Let's see, what is that? I think that's the size of needle I have. Look at that. I think you could like stab some. Yeah, 11s. And I'm in the color work section. So, once I get through the colorwork section, the rest of it will move very fast, because if you look at the picture, I think this pattern is super clever, because it starts on one color, right, and then you do the colorwork section, and in the middle of the colorwork section, the colors switch, and so then when you come out, you have the second color as the main color, which I like a lot. So yes, once I get through this colorwork section, and I am only like 6 rows in, then the rest of it will go very fast. I have not decided, you guys might notice that this is a short sleeve sweater. I have not decided if I'm going to make it short sleeve. I have seen several people who have made it long sleeve, and I keep going back and forth about that. It all depends on how much yarn I have left and how much my hands hurt when I get to the sleeves, because this big yarn on big needles does make my hands hurt. I do have this crafter's balm that Michelle, who is Apple Juice, sent me as part of my our Advent Swap goodies, and it helps. I've mentioned that I'm developing some arthritis in this thumb joint, so we'll see. But I do want to get this going because, again, I want to be able to wear it, and I want to be able to wear it before we lose our winter. Now, here in Colorado, we get snow all the way through April. So I do still have some months. It's not like I have to get it done before the end of January, otherwise I won't be able to wear it. But I still I want to get the maximum amount of wearing time. So we'll see. Part of me thinks that maybe I'll knit it with short sleeves because I do like the look of the short sleeves, and that way it would be more versatile. But then part of me is like, why would you knit a super bulky sweater with short sleeves? Because it's super bulky, which means you're going to want to wear it when it's cold, and if it has short sleeves, it's not going to keep you very warm. But I don't know. I would love to be able to wear a lot of sweaters in the office because I think that's the best, to be able to show off a lot of these sweaters is when you're, at work or whatever. But I run hot, and so I end up getting too hot. So everything that I wear to work that is hand knit, I have to be able to take off, which means that I can't wear it over a tank top. So that kind of limits me. But if you saw in the picture, the model is wearing it over a long sleeve shirt. So maybe I'll do. I don't know, and it doesn't really matter. I'll get to it eventually, make a decision, and then it'll be done. Last thing, and it's not a whip, but it is something that I'm going to get started soon. I gave hats to all of my coworkers for Christmas, and apparently one of my coworkers' husbands stole hers. She brought it home that day, and he tried it on and was like, well, this is really nice, and then didn't take it off for the rest of the evening. So she has asked if I will make one for him, which of course I am happy to do. So we agreed on some yarn, and I bought it. My yarn shop 2 Saturdays ago, had a every 100% of the proceeds that they made on that day, they donated to Australia because of the fires, and so I made sure to do some shopping on that day because I wanted to support that. So I picked up this beautiful thing. She said, "Can you get the darkest gray possible?" He wanted a black hat, but I was like, no. Knitting with black yarn is not fun. Even if you're not me, who doesn't like black, knitting with black yarn is not fun. So she said, well, find the darkest gray possible. So this is a really nice charcoal gray, dark charcoal. And this is Chasing Rabbits fiber. And each month, the dyer at Chasing Rabbits Fiber dyes a colorway for the yarn shop. So this is the Colorful January colorway in her Merino Lux DK, which is 100% superwash merino. And then because the hat that my coworker had gotten was one of the ones with the mohair, and he seemed to like that a lot, and because I couldn't find a dark gray in worsted, which meant that I was going to have to change my pattern or add mohair. So I got a skein of Rowan Kid Silkes from the shop, and it looks black, but it is a dark navy. So I figure putting those together will make the hat darker for him, and he is a fan of a sports team that has a navy color. So I don't know what sports team it is. I don't even know what sport it is, but there you go. That will give it a navy look, and that will make him happy. So I'm going to get started on that probably this weekend, and hopefully get it finished for her pretty quickly. I don't know if I will have it to podcast about, or I will have to give it before I can podcast next. We'll see how it goes. but I'll take a picture at the very least. And then, let's see, I have a couple of new yarns. I got my final Knitterly Things Color Club skein, and that is this one. I was a little bit surprised to see that she had gone with red again, because January was red. But I guess maybe this is burgundy? I don't know. This mini looks like it's very similar to the one that came with January's colorway. And this is very, very pretty. I don't know what I would have rathered had instead. But I don't know. It's very pretty. I will enjoy knitting it. It will probably make socks for my mom. Or my aunt. Oh, that's what I made the red one. The other one for was for my mom and my aunt. I don't know. We'll see. But I do like it. It's very pretty. This whole week, or this whole year's worth of club was super fun. I really enjoyed it. I can't say that I enjoyed it as much as I did the rainbow one from the year prior, the 2017. Because I think that one was perfect. I really, really enjoyed that one. And all the colorways, I think I've knit almost all of the colorways that I got, and every single one of them made me super happy. This one, not quite as much, but still very, very pretty. And there are some colorways that I got that I think are amazing. So, yeah. Excuse me. And then the other thing that I got... when I was at the yarn shop, and they were doing the donation for Australia, is 5 skeins of this Rowan Kid Silk Haze. Look at that green! Oh my god, I love it so much! I am going to make that sweater that everybody's making, where you take a skein of, a strand of fingering weight yarn, and you pair it with a strand of mohair lace, and you make this sweater that's got like a lacy yoke, and you can get a cropped version or a long version, and I can't think of it, but I will put the name down here, or up here, and I will put a picture right there. And so anyway, I've kind of been interested in making that, and I had these 2 skeins of Hue Loco that I had bought, the idea that I would use them for something sometime, and I thought they would actually go really well with this, like mustardy chartreuse. I love this color. Here's the Hue Loco. Okay, so this is called Outer Space Love. It is a gray base, like a tonal, and it's got all of these different colored speckles, right? There's some green and blue speckles here. There's some yellow speckles in there. There's purple, pink, orange, red, basically rainbow speckles, right? And I'm going to knit it with this. And if you think that's ugly, then you are totally welcome to that opinion, but I totally disagree. I think this is going to be amazing. I'm super looking forward to it. I think that this is going to just add that extra oomph that this colorway needed, and I'm really looking forward to it. So that is the other thing that I picked up. It's the only other new yarn that I've gotten, but I am hoping to make that sometime. I am trying to not give in to the unbelievable desire to cast it on right now, because, you know, I have 2 sweaters on the needles, and I have got so many other sweater quantities sitting in my cedar chest over there that I was super excited about casting on at the time too, and I couldn't for whatever reason, and now they've been sitting there for a while. So it's like, why would I need to like not cast on the brand new yarn and instead cast on some of the older stuff, because I'm still super excited about the patterns and the projects. Yeah, so who knows? When the next podcast, you may see that I've cast that on and something older. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I have to say that I am so much more excited about my knitting than I was in like October. I was really low on knitting mojo there um, for a while, and it's been nice to be excited about it again. I'm sure a lot of it has to do with the fact that I can wear the hand knits. So, I can't wear them during the summer except for socks. I still tend to wear my socks during the summer, but so when I'm not wearing the stuff for a while, I kind of fall out of. I don't fall out of love of knitting because I still knit every single day, but I just don't get as excited about patterns because it's too hot, you know. Okay, so that is all of the knitting content. I did tell you already about my bed. That's kind of the only thing that is new in our life is I got a new bed. And I'm working a lot. And so, yeah, and it's probably good that I'm working a lot because the new bed costs a lot of money and the overtime will be helpful. I didn't talk about reading in my last podcast, but I want to talk about it today because I have recently finished two books, and by recently I mean in the past 2 months I have finished two books that just blew my mind. I was so in love with them, and I just want everybody to read them so that I can talk to you about them because I just really love them. The first one is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I think that I was telling you in a recent podcast that I was reading this, or I was planning on reading this. I did read it. I finished it. I loved it so much. I am a big fan of Erin Morgenstern. I've read the Night Circus several times and have loved it each time I've read it in physical form. I've read it in audiobook. It's narrated by Jim Daly, who is the same guy who narrated the Harry Potter series, and I love his narrations. So I'm a huge fan, and it took a long time from The Night Circus, which was her first book, to The Starless Sea, which is her second book, and so I was a little bit afraid that she had that, that first book syndrome where they just come up with like the most amazing debut novel, and then they cannot repeat that miracle with any of their subsequent novels, and I'm happy to say that is not the case. This was amazing, just as amazing as The Night Circus. I really, really enjoyed it. It's a completely different world, and it's just as fantastic in other ways. Her imagination is phenomenal. I'm really, really impressed. Highly, highly recommend it. I listened to this on audio, and I highly recommend the audiobook if you are one who likes to listen to audiobooks, but the physical form, I'm sure, is just as good. In fact, my mom read it in physical form and said that it was awesome. So, yes, read this. Do it now. Secondly, I just recently finished The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton, and this one is one that I had on my shelf for a long time, but was keen on reading it. I also listened to this, and this is a perfect example of when the narrator really adds something extra. I think that I still would have loved this if I had read it in physical form, but listening to it on audio made me love it extra, if that makes sense. So this is the story of... Oh, I didn't give you a synopsis of The Starless Sea because it is super hard to synopsize this book. So you're just going to have to read about it online. But this one I can say, this is... the main character is in... he's in a manor, in an English manor, and it's like the teens, the 1800s, or the 19 teens, maybe the aughts, somewhere around there, maybe the late 1800s, somewhere around there, and he has woken up, has no memory, and is at this manor where there is a party going on, and he comes to find out that at the end of the day, Evelyn Hardcastle is going to be murdered. He has eight opportunities to solve her murder, and to do that, the opportunities that he has, is that he gets to relive that same day in 8 different hosts. So he's in their body. So he wakes up in his first host, and kind of gets this explained to him, and he has to solve Evelyn Hardcastle's murder. If he doesn't solve it in those 8 days, then, or in the 8 hosts, because it's the same day over and over again, then he gets his brain wiped, and he has to do it again, start again, back at the beginning. And what I really liked about that, because that is not a completely original idea. I mean, it has been done in different ways over time, but what I really liked is that not only was he limited or enhanced by the abilities, the physical abilities of the hosts that he was inhabiting. So if you know somebody who was strong, he was stronger. As somebody who was weak or old, he was frailer. But he was also limited in their cognitive, mental, intelligent abilities. So if they were a very clever person, then he was able to figure out more things when he was in them than if he was in somebody who was a little bit more simple. And I loved that kind of twist on it. There's one time where he's inhabiting a host who has less patience than his previous host, and so he finds it hard to he's trying to sit and wait for something to happen, and he can't, because the person that he's the person that he is inhabiting does not have the patience for that. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed this book a lot. Now the ending could have been a little bit better, but I find that happens in every single book that I read where I am in love with it. If I have already decided, 50 pages in, that this is a 5-star book, then I always find the ending to kind of let me down. And that happened in The Starless Sea, that happened in The Night Circus. It happens in pretty much all of them, because I'm sad that they're ending, and I just don't want them to stop, So, but I did fully give this 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. Highly recommend it. The audiobook, again, is amazing. Narrator is great. I cannot remember who the narrator is. I do apologize, but highly, highly recommend it. It was a great, great book. Okay, I think that is it, guys. We have got some errands to run as a family, and I have got to, do non-work things. All right, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and happy knitting.